As an equestrian, being average means standing in line with what the industry expects from you. But being unique as an equestrian means that you're often standing alone, maybe with a few others, but it allows you to move in alignment with what you truly want. This is why being average as an equestrian keeps you stuck and why you really should be thinking about how to be unique as an equestrian. Because being unique allows you to align with your true equestrian self that may not be like everyone else in the barn aisle you share. Welcome to another episode of Yoga for the Barn Aisle, brought to you by Callebaut Yoga. I'm your host, Makayla. Now, I have been an equestrian in almost every way possible. I have participated in lesson programs, I've been leasing horses and owning horses for the past 13 years, and now I've actually brought my horse home. He was retired early, and when I was 16 years old, I made the choice to bring him home instead of trying to get rid of him, sell him, or whatever else you do with a horse that's been diagnosed chronically ill. So first off, this stands to make me very unique as an equestrian. I knew absolutely no one who had taken their horse home because of an injury when I did this. And I mean taken them home with a chronic illness that meant they were no longer useful in the industry I was in. We were competing in the hunter, jumper, and equitation rings across Washington State as well as up in Canada and in Oregon. But I really didn't know anyone that kept their horse after things. I knew riders that their horse got injured and they got a new horse, or they sold their horse, or they let them go. But I think this is where my superpower came in, and it changed who I was as an equestrian. And that's why I'm here today talking to you as an equestrian life coach who has a bachelor's in psychology as well as a 200-hour yoga certification. Combining yoga, psychology, and horses is my life. It's exactly what I do day in and day out, and it's time that I've shared it with you. So thinking about being an average equestrian versus a unique equestrian, it's a daunting task. And it's scary to even talk about because I know that a lot of people didn't fully understand what I chose to do. And especially when I came back leasing another horse while I could finish my junior career, because I was 16, I had 2 more years left to show as a junior. And I was lucky enough, and my parents were supportive enough to take on 2 horses. One that was basically a pasture pet at this point, and one that I was showing in the 3-3 ring with. So I was basically standing with a foot in both worlds. I was trying to be this average equestrian, following what everyone else did in the barn aisle, leasing a new horse, continuing to show, and then I would leave that barn, go to a different barn, and I would be taking care of my own horse, scheduling vet calls, PEMF appointments, farrier appointments, chiro, the list goes on and on. And for the first time in my life, I was in charge of all of these things for my personal horse. And then I was still at this barn where this trainer that I had, a lovely trainer, I respect her so much and what she taught me, but I was still paying her to take care of all these things for my other horse. That was weird. That was really difficult for me because I was standing as a sole advocate, needing to know everything about my personal horse. And then the horse I was leasing, it was like, I kind of knew when the vet was coming, but I really didn't because I was in a lesson program, and it just got so complicated where I found myself wanting to take more ownership of the horse I was leasing because it gave me so much more context to what he needed, how I needed to behave as his rider that I had learned from my personal horse, Bo. So thinking about being average, but also being unique at the same time, it was fusing everything I had learned from being like almost no one else I knew into trying to fit in a barn aisle when we all were leasing, owning, and just taking lessons on these horses. So it was a weird, uncomfortable life. It felt like I was leading a double life, to be honest. And I remember being so tired after high school, and I ended up, the lease ended with this other horse, and so I still had mine. I went off to college, found yoga, was studying psychology, and I remember being like, I just want to integrate myself. I don't want to be this person at one end and this person at the other, and then this type of equestrian and this type, like, let it all just meet in the middle, and that's who I am. So that's where I want to talk about being unique as a superpower. Being unique has allowed me to start my own business. It means that I'm talking to you today because I chose to be unique instead of trying to be average. And that's where average allows you to run the risk of getting stuck, not moving forward. Unique allows you to align with what you truly want. I never would have realized how much ownership I wanted to take of my horse's well-being had it not been that at 16 years old, I was moving my horse home and figuring that out for the first time. And huge shout out to my vets because they helped me do it. They recognized what I was trying to do and they said, here, let us help you. This is what you need to know. This is how. Everyone was helping me make this huge change, but I still had to do it on my own because my parents are not horse people. I don't come from a long line of horseback riders. It's just me. And so I had to look for other people around me to help me figure it out. But it was like I was taking advice from one person for this, another person for this, while trying to figure out how I felt about it too. Because I always say, in the horse world, no one agrees on anything. That's just like, you just have to stand in ambiguity in the horse world. That's how it is, right? But that place of ambiguity gives you the space to be unique and really forge your own path. And that can give you the most rewarding experience in the equestrian world that you never knew you could have. If you recognize now that maybe you're acting a little more like an average equestrian than you would like to be, you want to be a little bit more unique, have the unicorn moment, here are some questions I want you to ask yourself. What really matters to you? What do you really want your equestrian life to look like? And what norms, social norms, equestrian norms, are standing in your way from achieving or being within that equestrian life that you truly desire? These 3 questions will help you identify the changes you need to make to shift from being an average equestrian to a unique equestrian. And I really want to say before we end this episode, if being average serves you and feels good, you don't need to change. But if there's that little thing in the back of your head saying, I want more, this isn't sitting with me right, it's time to ask those 3 questions. If you ask those 3 questions and you get right back where you are as an equestrian, great, you won. I'm so happy for you. So allow both to be good. Allow both sides of the spectrum to be desirable. But also recognize what phase of life you're in, who you are as an equestrian, as well as who your horse is, and make the right choice for you. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. Please comment below, like, subscribe, tell us what you want to hear next. And if this video or podcast episode resonated with you and you want to share it with a friend, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to grow a community from Callebaut Yoga, and I can't wait to talk to you next time. If you're looking for more, visit our website, callebautyoga.com. Check out the courses we have to offer, as well as subscribe to the email list to be a VIP member getting early access to all new events, programs, workshops, as well as being someone that I go to when I'm setting up new courses. That way you get to tell me exactly what you're looking for from an equestrian life coach like me. Thank you again and have a great rest of your day.